Have you ever thought about your funeral? Have you ever thought what you might want it to look like? What sort of elements you might want to bring in? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Have you ever actually thought about this? Well, in today's episode, we are actually going to be planning our funerals. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the And Also podcast. I'm your host, Madison, and in today's episode, we have Brittany Demarco-Furman coming on for another guest host takeover. So today, we are going to be doing something super interesting. Have you ever thought about your funeral? Literally your own funeral. Have you ever thought what you might want it to look like, what sort of elements you might want to bring in, maybe what music you want played? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be cremated? Have you ever actually thought about this? Well, in today's episode, we are actually going to be planning our funerals. And I'm on a journey to become a funeral director, and here on this podcast, we talk a ton about grief and loss and trauma and mental health, but we also try to get a perspective for it that isn't so negative and just like all bad, right? Like we want to, especially when it comes to working in the funeral space, to find joys in the funeral process. So today we're going to be planning our funerals, making it a fun, fresh time. And it'll be interesting to see like how different we are in what we want, or maybe how similar we are. And of course, it'll give you guys inspiration for your funeral. You probably never thought you would hear somebody say that, but seriously, there's such an importance on pre-planning, and we'll talk more about this in the episode, but it's something that really helps to take a lot of weight off of your family if something were to happen to you, because at the end of the day, we are all going to die. Like that's just a part of life. That's the one thing we've all got in common, blah, blah, blah. You know, the cliches. We just want to bring awareness to that and just make it a more open conversation. And I think it'll be a really interesting one. So if you want to know what Brittany and I want to do for our own funerals, stay tuned. Of course, before we get into that, let's get into our drink of the day. Today's drink, y'all. I know I've done a liquid death drink before, and you're probably going to see it again because I'm just such a fan. This is the Rest in Peach Iced Tea X Agave X Vitamins. It's a wild collab. So this actually does have caffeine. I think it has 30 milligrams. Yes, microdose of natural caffeine, 30 milligrams per can. So I've been trying to lessen my caffeine intake because it is a lot, and I have been using this as a way to do that. So sometimes I also don't want coffee. Like I just want something refreshing and light, and I love me some peach. I'm not going to sit here and act like this is the first time I've tried this, because I'm going to be honest with you, I have bought so many cases of this, it's not even funny. It is not carbonated. I should put that out there. I think a lot of people expect liquid death to always be carbonated. It's not. Like this is just an iced tea that is peach flavored. This is so good. I want to chug it for real. Let me just say, if you know the peach Snapple, the really sweet peach Snapple, it basically tastes like that without that intense sweetness. And I don't love super sweet drinks. So this is the perfect level of being sweet, but not overbearing. So I am obsessed with this. All of the flavors of the iced tea so far are so good, but this is my personal favorite. So that's my drink of the day. Hope you try it out. Let me know what you are drinking. If you're drinking a little drinkity drink and watching this on YouTube, leave a comment below letting me know what you're sipping on. And with that, let's just bring in Brittany. Let's get the show on the road and let's talk funeral planning. Okay, welcome back for another episode.
Yes, together again.
Together again at last.
In your new studio, it's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm so happy with it. It's I don't know, it feels more cozy and personal.
It's
and
perfect. It's so you again, but I mean, if you can't see, she's literally like a light.
Yes,
it's like a ceiling light.
Kind of like a, I don't know, the angle is perfect too, because it's not directly on us. I'm telling you, this room was made for
I know.
this.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm excited for this conversation.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this one.
I know.
So today we're going to be basically kind of planning our funerals, just getting into all the nitty gritty of it all.
Yeah, and we're not manifesting our death.
No.
This is...
We rebuke that energy.
Yes, we take that back.
We're not doing that.
But we're just being honest that, you do never know when you're going to pass away.
Right.
And our perspective today, it'll also be nice to have this documented in case anybody wanted to know. Here we are, speaking our truth,
This
what
is
we
what
want. And also, I'm sure, maybe some things we align on, but some things are different. And we can talk about that and find new options that some people, don't know about, because we're very involved in this industry. So unlike other people who just think casket or cremation, we know all the tea. And you have a death file. So, I mean, it's going to be very educational and eye-opening and kind of fun for us to, speak on what we have on our mind.
And I think, too, it's just, let's just normalize this. Because something you've said a lot is once you think about it and you get it done and you get it planned, then you don't have to think about it ever again and you can just live life.
It's so empowering. I did 6 pre-plans this week.
That's really good.
It's great for the kids who come in and pre-plan for their elderly parents.
Yeah.
Because first off, they take the information I give them, and then they talk to their siblings or whoever else has to make the decisions, making sure they're on the same page. So then no questions and
no one's fighting.
No fights later on. And no, mom wanted this, mom wanted that. No. You also confirm with your parents if they're still able to realize we're just doing this. It doesn't mean anything is happening.
You're gonna die tomorrow.
But better in this mindset than after a passing.
Yes.
And it's crazy to see where people, they have this feels so, I'm so happy I met you. And also if it's not, pending death, it's fun.
Right.
Because who doesn't want to talk about life? And,
make it about you.
Going down memory lane. And it's just incredible to see what people have done with their lives. And they're like, you know what? I did make an impact. Or my mom or dad were so cool and makes you appreciate them.
It's you learn stuff you may not have known before when you have this sort of conversation with somebody. And I think too, a lot of people never actually think about it. So you ask them do you know what you want when you die? And they're like, I'm supposed to think about that. That's something I have it almost brings it to perspective. Right. And I really think that there's such a huge sense of denial. So I think just talking about it, it's why not?
It doesn't have to be so taboo.
Right.
It doesn't.
Or dark. It doesn't have to be dark.
So who wants to go first?
Ooh.
I guess I have a question.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're thinking about the future.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to live in this area forever?
It's such a hard question because I think I'm always going to have that pull back to New York City. I think about New York every single day of my life. I dream about it. I can't imagine a reality where I don't wind up back there at some point. Anytime soon, probably not. I'm in school and I want to start my career here. And, I want to do my residency here. And I also don't really know what working in the funeral industry in New York City would be like.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how they do it. I feel they have cloned themselves down there. There's not enough.
I know. It's bizarre to think about. So I don't really know if that's going to be my direction for a long time, but I do think I'm going to die there. I definitely think in my retirement age or just when I'm older, I'm going to wind up there at some point. So I think when I die, if it's not premature and sudden, it would be in New York City.
So, I mean, regardless, you have your family up here and it being down the city too. So you definitely would probably have multiple or at least 2 services celebrating your community up here and down in the city. I mean, that doesn't mean that people don't travel for funerals, of course, but your essence being in both spots.
Right.
And we're going to talk more about that. But people don't think about that.
I haven't even thought about that, to be honest.
And I think it brings up the conversation that when you meet with a funeral home to pre-plan, you can plan all right, well, where do you want to have the viewing?
Right.
Because you can have it at one destination. Say, for example, they passed in North Carolina. They had another home or they were vacationing down there, but that was they had a community down there, snowbirds. They can have an open casket there, and then the body can be shipped up to New York. and then have a viewing here where the final resting place would be, or disposition of cremation. People find it fascinating that this is an option. Like, they just think there's like, oh my gosh,
it's like
if
one
I die
and done.
somewhere, like,
yeah.
And I think a very important thing to put out there is you want to work with one funeral home to first get down all the information. So if you meet with somebody up here, they would direct and find a trusted, responsible funeral home in that area where you're a snowbird or where you're vacationing often too, just to have something prepared. And that means that they can transport the body back, make sure everything's in line with what your wishes are, and you don't have to be paying 2 separate funeral home fees.
Wow.
Yes.
That's really good to know.
Yes. And because we're in upstate New York, which is freezing, we deal with this so often. So New York City's not that different. So, but it's interesting to just, know that people have identities all over the world.
Yeah. Cause I feel like, cut to the chase a little bit, like I definitely want to be cremated. Mm-hmm. I kind of have left it up to my parents, whether, they want to have a viewing before I'm cremated. I would not like to be embalmed, but
really,
yeah,
okay.
But I know that my friends and family would want to see me, at least like my closest friends, my siblings. If that's what they want to do, I'm not there for that. You know what I mean? So they can do that, but ultimately, like, I want to be cremated at the end. So like, I can't imagine myself being in a cemetery. No. Like, the thought of that is like, it just doesn't feel right for me.
Even if it was above ground, like mausoleum, columbarium?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. So I have a friend, like one of my really close friends died when I was 16, and he was buried at a cemetery. And for the first few years, like, I was able to visit him all the time. And then I moved away and I didn't visit him for like 4 years. And I carry so much guilt with that. Versus, like, Regis was cremated. I have him here in my apartment. So I just have found like a deeper connection with being able to like connect with him after death.
Physical remains. Yeah. Like their essence is closer to you.
Where I feel like my friend that's in the cemetery is like a million miles away, even though he's like 10 minutes from here. But then I feel guilty for not making time to go visit him. And like, if something comes up and I can't go on his birthday, like, I just carry so much guilt with that. But I also get that not everybody has the ashes, so they probably want a place as well. So I'm very much like, if my family really wanted to bury my ashes, they could. But what I would want is like not that. So I think I would have, like, honestly, I would have my services probably up here because that's where a lot more of my family is. And I know if my friends traveled for my launch party, they're going to travel for my funeral.
Yeah, they will. Oh, I love your friends.
They're going to, I mean, my friends are going to take over the whole funeral. So be ready.
Oh my gosh. But we're talking about when you're old. So they're going to be like fabulous old people.
They're gonna, like with their glam.
Like bedazzled canes. Yep. Oh, yes. I see it.
Oh my God. Like, it's going to eat. It's really going to eat. And I think doing the service up here would be really nice. But then maybe being cremated in the city, like, as my final stop. And then maybe like after I'm cremated, like my family like goes to like
brunch. No,
literally, I was gonna say like what restaurant would I want them to go to? Cremate me, pick me up. And then take me to like Urban Vegan Kitchen on Carmine Street. Like, I'll be happy.
I love it.
And then, they could do what they want from there.
Oh my God. Well, we just uncovered a lot of things.
Yeah, that was a lot.
And we'll kind of go back to like how you see your celebration life, talking about like the meat of it. I mean, flowers, all that good stuff. Kind of going like, to me now, I like the idea of having my name, somewhere. You didn't like mention about this if it's not something you want, but I like the idea of a cemetery where it's like you're with your family, you're with your ancestors. That's the family plot.
Yeah.
When I'm at a cemetery, I do have this like verse I say. It's like, some will come not so often, some will come often. But whoever does come feels blessed because it's sacred grounds. This is where they lay, and this is like where their memory continues. And also now they're doing like the QR code things that go on
those. I saw those.
And you know me with my like Instagram and all the photos.
We gotta be on it.
I'm gonna have like my old TikToks. I'd be like, they're gonna like, who's this? Like, what's this QR code? It's gonna be like, boom, boom, like me.
In like 100 years, someone's gonna scan the QR code like with their eyeballs.
Yeah, seriously. And they're gonna be like, turn off. This woman's insane. But
internal brain flashbacks of like some TikTok dance from 2020.
Gosh, I know. During the pandemic when we're all stuck inside
doing the renegade.
But like, I like the idea of having my name etched on the surface. And it doesn't have to be a cemetery, but I do like the concept of being with my family.
Yeah.
My final disposition will be cremation as well, which may be surprising as a funeral director.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's like wrong.
I know. They'd be like, what are you doing? You're not upselling. Right?
No. That's not what this is about.
No, that's not. And that's the thing. Like, I do give everybody their options that you can have a viewing, which you know the importance that I feel about viewing. And I will have a viewing with a ceremonial casket. And then hopefully I'm a fabulous older woman. Like I want to have all my favorite jewelry on. You know, I want my
nails did. Lipstick.
Yes.
What color lipstick?
I mean, I go back and forth. Definitely not the snob from MAC color. But like,
it would be iconic though.
Seriously, like bringing back Jersey Shore with like
the bump. Yeah.
No.
Chunky highlights.
Well, I'm actually going blonde, so who even knows? I think I'm gonna rock like silver hair as like an older lady. Yes. I think that's gonna be me. Yeah, so I want to look like fabulous there. Give people peace that like Queen is.
Like she's still glam, you know.
Resting in peace.
Yeah.
You know, I think about my daughter and, you know, all the fun things that we're going to do in her future and, you know, shopping trips and just, always knowing mommy was like into fashion.
Yes.
Even though I look like a politician today, excuse me.
It's the Hillary Clinton number.
With no shoes on, no socks on.
I love
it. Yeah, so I feel like we'll give a lot of people peace.
Yeah.
Seeing me. And then we'll talk more about the content inside the funeral home afterwards, but cremation afterwards, because like you said, I want to be separated. And it's a huge thing that people don't understand. They just think that the cremains just go into an urn and it's given to one person.
Right, and then you'll fight over it.
Yeah. We separate cremains all the time. Sometimes such a small amount to be used for jewelry, which when I say a small amount, we literally give the jeweler that makes this jewelry art where it's placed into
like necklaces. Rings.
It's like it's less than a tablespoon. We can pass it around as long as the immediate family, the informant, is okay with that.
Yeah, and they get what they need.
The little keepsakes sometimes, passing that around with the family, something that, maybe pink, or maybe they find something or they create something, which is great. So they have that to keep at their home for as long as they live. And sorry, if we put the fun in funeral here, a lot of people do end up getting buried or cremated with those urns too, because in reality, after their generation,
that's something I've always thought about.
It is like,
where does it go, or how long are we passing this down the line?
I know, and it just ends up like in an attic one day, and the new movers come in and they throw it out, and it happens so often.
Or at the Salvation Army.
I know, like I've seen that. So I would want to, if anybody had, the need to have my cremains made into something like a keepsake, that's great. Half would be buried at my family plot. My husband and I are going back and forth if I'm gonna be going. I really sorry, honey. I want to go with my mom and dad.
Peace and love.
I love you, but I want to go where my mom and dad is, and then have my next of kin, my children, scatter at his family plot. So then we'll kind of do everything in reverse in a way where we're still together. But here's the big thing, because I'm
listen up.
I love the ocean. I think you know that.
I remember you telling me.
I love mermaids. Yeah. I feel like a part of my identity is the ocean.
Yeah. People
don't know there's so many cool ways to be remembered, instead of the expensive casket and the big shebang. Cremation does save a lot of money. I rather, for my immediate family, have money put aside, maybe through a life insurance policy. Maybe there would be a loophole in the future that funeral homes could do where they put on the cash advances, a little fund for my family to go down to Florida, have a little weekend trip. And there are multiple locations, especially on the East Coast, where they will bring you out by boat, and they they are rebuilding the coral reefs with artificial coral. The cremains are placed inside, and your name is like etched on a monument that's on the bottom of the ocean. I'm very detailed oriented when it comes to my plans.
That is my greatest fear.
The ocean?
Greatest fear. Oh. Yeah, don't want to do it. Don't want to do it.
Yes.
Hell no.
Nope. Yep. I want the little fishies to feed on me.
Oh my God.
And, help rebuild the ecosystem down there.
I mean, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yeah. I know there's a cost affiliated with it, but I find myself, instead of being buried traditionally in a cemetery, I'd like that token of remembrance and also that experience for my family, because they'll always know that I love the sea. They'll come together, have that peace, knowing Mom is with her family,
right?
In essence too, but also she helped rebuild the coral reef.
She's giving back to Mother Nature.
Yes, even after death.
Yes, I like that. Wouldn't do it myself, but like totally get the vision, totally get the vibe.
And more families are coming to me saying like, this life insurance policy here is not going to be used for my funeral. That's why I'm creating the trust. My life insurance policy is going to be used obviously for necessities,
right?
But I would like my family to have this experience.
That's a great idea. Like having a trip in mind, or just something that they can do.
Yeah. Something that they can like look forward to as like your essence and finding the peace afterwards.
Right.
And I'm seeing it more and more that people are saving money for like these trips to honor their loved one.
Like Regis's family did go to Colorado because he was planning on moving there, and they scattered some of his ashes in the Colorado River. So it's like
that's a huge way that people find some kind of light. It's like, this is what their wishes were. This is what they loved. But also, there's some places where you want to make sure you get a permit before you do so. So I'm not out here saying scatter at Saratoga Racetrack, because you will get tackled down there. And especially at Disney World. It is illegal. Yeah. And Lake George has policies against it too. Don't like listen to this funeral director and be like, oh, I'm going to go scatter at like the most populated place and get ashes spread across the visitors at Disney World. So
it's like blowing in everyone's face.
What is that movie? The Big Lebowski?
Yep.
Oh shit, dude, I'm sorry. Goddamn wind. Fuck.
God damn it, Walter.
Yes, and for that, we do sell scattering tubes and graceful water burials. You know, people are like, oh, well, it sounds like good in my head to just take the box that comes back from the crematorium, which is a plastic box with a big heavy-duty plastic bag inside. And they open it up, and then, of course, a big gust of wind, and it goes everywhere. It's not graceful at all.
It's messy. It's all over you. You're covered in ashes.
Water burials, people are like, oh, that's it. Like, we do have these biodegradable products that if you place in the water, they go out. Looks so beautiful going out into the water, and then they gracefully sink to the bottom, and it doesn't do anything to harm the environment.
It breaks down.
And it becomes a ceremony, not like, who's going to do this now? Who wants to have this responsibility?
And then it just becomes a disaster. Then everyone's mad.
Yep. So, so a little tea on scattering. Definitely check where you're going. Mm-hmm. You know, as a funeral director, I said, I don't want to know. You're saying scattering in Idaho. Okay, that's going to put on the cremation authorization. But we don't police it.
Right. Like, what are you going to do?
Yes.
Scatter responsibly.
Thank you.
Scatter responsibly. That. Okay, so our actual funeral service. What are we going for? What's the vision?
This is so crazy because I always thought I would have like a massive Christian burial.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were going to say.
I thought I would, but I don't think I would. I don't think I'm doing it at church.
When did that change?
I think just like recently.
Yeah, because I remember last time we talked about it, you did say that you wanted that.
Well, I also feel like an imposter in a way because, I mean, unless things change, I go to church a few times a week being a funeral director, and I feel like I'm graced from that experience. But
on a personal
level.
I'm
not going to church with my family and myself. And, you know, I find church and faith throughout my life, you know. I find it in music. I find it in, you know, people helping one another and trying to be a better person. And, you know, I live by grace. That's like what I try to do. So I kind of find myself more doing a service at the funeral home where it could be more, and this might be selfish, but this is what I tell my families, more about me, less saying God and Jesus, and reading scripture that nobody understands. Yeah. And it's beautiful. Like, believe me, like I want some scripture being read.
Just in a different way, you know, like not so what Jesus's life was, like more what your life was.
Exactly. I know it's hard to break traditions, but it you know, even when I had my grandmother's funeral, I felt like we were talking. They said her name Louise once or twice in the service, and it kind of loses that charm. And I don't want to be like everybody else. Like I want my own unique service honoring me, like I would want for all my loved ones. Right. So I definitely believe in celebrants. I'm a certified celebrant, and our jobs are to cultivate one-of-a-kind services based on what the family provides us about the life we're honoring, but then also what you could do as a writer and a public speaker to bring people together in that moment. And like we talked about the 5 senses, finding ways to bring that out and make people feel comfortable to have that platform if they want to share their stories. Right. I'm all about having 1 or 2 speakers be prepared. And then
that helps to get the ball rolling. Yes. Because then if no one...
Oh, yeah. We know that.
It's so awkward.
We know that. And that's why I always give a round 2 at the cemetery, because then we're all standing. It's all level ground. And you know people will start speaking at the cemetery because now there's no podium.
Different. And then it's their last chance, too.
Yes.
And I think that if they were regretting not speaking the first time, they're definitely going to, you know, speak up the second time.
Yeah, and there's never pressure.
Right.
And then as a funeral director, you know, you take what they told you and then you turn it into a little, like, story to close and, like, let them know that maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you're going to have these stories that come out and it's going to make you think of them and keep sharing those stories. Keep saying their name. And then if there's a reception, now you're going to have some food and some drinks, and I know the storytelling will continue.
That's when it's going to kick in. Yeah.
And it never ends, the storytelling. And I think that's the most important part. But I know people have a lot of guilt when they don't come to the microphone or they say something that's on their chest. They're like, I wish I said something.
Right.
And, you know...
And it's hard. It's like you feel like I might break down and cry. It's going to be embarrassing. But, like, even if you do break down and cry...
It's so human.
You're still bringing people together in a way because they're probably waiting to break down and cry, too. And now you're allowing them the space to do so.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
And so no matter what happens when you're up there, 1... most people are in such a haze that they're not going to remember. Mm-hmm. And 2, even if they do, like, there's still a sense of community in no matter how it goes. Yeah. Like, at Regis's, I was good. I was, like, holding it together through the whole thing. And then at the end, I read this poem. Mm-hmm. And as soon as, like, I started reading the poem, I was like, oh, shit. Like, I'm about to, like, fully, like, break down, like, not even just cry and, like, be able to hold it together, but, like, I was standing there for, like, 5 minutes straight just crying in front of everybody, and everyone was crying with me. And it was just like, we all need to let this out right now. So 5 senses.
So we covered final disposition, which would be on the death certificate. And location wise, we talked about I'm going in a coral reef. Did you ever think about what kind of urn you would be in?
It has to be black.
Duh.
Maybe black and white checkered.
Should it be a Stanley? Should they make... Imagine. They do 3D urns, too. I don't think people know that. Yeah. You could send them a photo, and they can make a 3D urn. It's insane what they can do.
That's actually kind of creepy. I saw that someone put their grandmother in resin, like the body. Like, they resined the whole thing.
Okay, that's crazy. And
they put her in their house. I, like, posted up in the corner.
I'm, like, terrified
I'm like, now. Is that even legal? Probably not in New York State, but maybe in, like, Colorado or something.
Definitely
they
Colorado.
Have, like, really,
it's like the Wild West.
No laws.
That's the state that doesn't have...
You don't need a license.
Funeral,
Like, you could just roll in and be like, I'm trying to embalm today. What are we doing?
That's like, and then I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I hate working with that state because it's like
so
the
scary.
Wild West. I don't know.
Sometimes it's too much. Like, sometimes
it's too
much.
A little too,
like, we also have parameters for a reason. Like,
oh yeah. Well, I mean, we need those parameters.
Yes.
Especially what we do.
Yes.
Actually, funny thing. We talked about me being cremated. I actually would like to be hydrologist. I don't even know what that. Alkaline, I'm still like studying about it because it's not legal.
It's not legal in New York yet.
But I know that down in Long Island, they have a pet. I don't even know what you call it, but that's where it's like the high-powered water. It like dissolves your body.
Or something. It's
my dad's trying to tell me it's acid. I'm like, no, it's not acid.
Isn't it like hypochloric acid? But it's not acid. It is water. But the way that they pressurize it, like...
It's like, yeah.
It's like, I don't even know.
Girl, we'll have to bring up this conversation because I did not study.
Because it basically like speeds up the amount of time it would take for you to decompose.
Yes.
Like you could decompose in 4 hours.
Yes, and it's better for the environment. Yeah. And that's why I would want that.
I think a lot of people are also afraid of like being burned.
Definitely.
So I think the water is like more digestible for people.
Yeah.
Aquamation, that's what it's called.
Thank you.
Aquamation. Like hydromation.
I'm like, yeah, I didn't come prepared to bring that conversation up, but that's something that I love to look into.
Yeah, I hope it's legal in New York when I die because
I know.
I would like to do that. If it's an option,
maybe we should get on a board somewhere.
That's what we're doing.
We'll add it to our resume of things we're doing.
Advocating for aquamation in New York. I would love that. But okay, so I am big on scent, fragrance, candles. Like that's my life. Like love it. If there is a viewing, which now that we're talking about it, I think I should be embalmed and I think there should be a viewing. And this is a question I have for you. Can like anybody do your makeup?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Because I would love my friend Keon, who you met, to do my makeup.
Okay.
Can you do mine too? Yes. Hey. Oh my gosh. Yes, Keon, you're doing all of our makeup. Because we've been talking about this and like he knows my face. He knows how I do my makeup. Like he's the one who has the answers. So I just know that if there's a viewing, Keon's got to do it. And then I also need to make sure that I am doused in Ariana Grande Cloud fragrance.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
Needs to happen. Like you need to smell that when you walk in. Like that's the smell. And do you have like ideas of fragrance or anything like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. One thing about who does your makeup or hair, who comes in, obviously we need the informant to approve that beforehand. But we've had people come in and do nails, all that. And it's a beautiful way to like tribute a person.
Yeah, it's so personal.
And also feel like comfortable. And always like the old nanas that come in, they're like, well, make sure she says she's going to do my hair. She's been doing my perm since blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, they come. And it's so sad to see those hairdressers because especially that do the older ladies. Yeah. And they're like, this is another one leaves. And, you know, it's so sad. But I've been doing her hair in the nursing home. It was just a beautiful story. So, yes, I love my Gucci Flora. But I don't know. I definitely would want, you remember the call with all the candles everywhere?
Yes.
I'm a big candle girl.
Me
I kind of when people come in, I want like a themed, like I kind of like chronological, like my early life, maybe like a peony flower, and then it's like me as a child photos,
like walking through
like a walk to remember, literally like going through the funeral home, and then
I'm taking that idea from you, right? Because like each stage of life has a different fragrance, and it's so personal.
Absolutely. And then maybe my teenager years, maybe musk or like BO.
No Victoria's Secret bombshell fragrance.
Stop. Yes.
What was the other one?
Oh my God, Britney Spears had her little scent out. Like so something that was like a celebrity scent.
Yeah.
Yes. J-Lo. You remember the J-Lo bottles? Yep. J-Lo Glow. J-Lo Glow.
Poor J-Lo.
Aw, poor J-Lo. Millionaire. Poor me. I like the whole chronological. There's some people who like it'll mix up. I like a walk to remember. Yes, I like that. And having my little things out. I know we talked about people who put out keepsakes, like the CDs or the paintings.
The clowns.
And people, clowns. And people take them. So it's like, once you die, like it's a lot for your next generation to like, all right, what am I gonna do with all mom's this? Like I want some, but like, you know, I'm be moving, I'm collecting. It's a lot of stuff. People do end up like hoarders, or they do give it away.
Right.
So why not put like the things that you have so much of out on display, and the funeral director makes a little sign, be like, please take one in honor of Brittany and remember her.
What would you put out?
So I collect mermaid statues and everything mermaids, and it's getting to the point where I have stopped, and people know that, like, you know, I like these little like things that are like mermaidish.
They get them
They
for
buy
you
them
all the time.
You can look at my messenger on Facebook. Brittany, I thought of you. I got it for you. And thank you. I love you. Keep
also,
doing it because I love you.
I only have so much room.
No, but it's getting like overwhelming. And then I have my daughter, Madison. Hi, Madison. And like Mermaid Tail here. Like I named her after the movie from Splash. Like everybody knows that like I like mermaids. So it's to the point now when she was born, I was getting so many like
as gifts and
so
stuff.
many.
And then she's going to start getting them.
Yep.
And then,
Yep. So definitely have I try to make the room for it now, but there's definitely going to start being a bin somewhere. It's like, this is for my funeral. Right?
Yeah.
So definitely want that as like a keepsake for people to take. I hope it creates a smile and they don't think I'm too weird thinking of that.
I love that though. I think that's like the perfect, like that's very, very you.
Yes,
so that makes
absolutely.
Sense.
So
I would probably do like my books. Well, I know that one person, they wrote a note in all the books, right?
Yes.
I should probably do that now. Just go through all my books and write just like a little something for whoever winds up taking that book at my funeral.
Or maybe what this book like meant to you.
Yes.
And like the takeaway from it.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant.
That's a great idea.
I love that.
That'll be more than enough to go around.
So, music.
I've told you, and we talked about this in the Feldhausen episode, but I already have my funeral playlist put together, and it's very much a mix of things. There are happy songs, sad songs, like anything you could think, but every song is there for a reason, and every song is like a memory I have with a specific person. When Monopoly by Ariana Grande comes on at my funeral, Keon's gonna be like, oh, I know she put this one on for me. Like, that's our song.
I love that.
So every time a song comes on, like someone there will connect with it. Some people will be like, why is she playing this like trap beat at her funeral? But then someone there is gonna be like, oh my gosh, this was our song.
Me.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Jeez, I have to get more people pre-planning their playlists. Like,
yes, it's
like,
so
I mean, now with Spotify, it's actually I've had
Yeah.
a family that came to me. They're like, my mom always said this is our playlist.
Yes.
And that's what we played. And let me tell you, I love that playlist. It was like total like early thousands.
Yes,
and
like
people were
just-
scratching their heads, but like people were like, "This is."
It's like if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what it should be.
Like Regis sent me a playlist before he died, and it was like all of our favorite songs. We both like add to it over time, and that's what we played at his service. It's like it's a really personal thing, and I think if you can,
It's healing too. Music is like.
And
the
it's
most
not
powerful.
hard to make a playlist. Like if you're listening to your music in the car and you're like, oh, I should put this on my funeral playlist. Like literally my playlist is called Play This at My Funeral. Like very simple, to the point. My parents will look at my Spotify and be like, I think this might be the one. Yeah.
There's always one song. So, but like you think about what it's going to mean to other people. What is like, what's your song that you think is your theme song to life?
I would probably say, oh gosh, what's yours?
Oh my gosh, no.
I feel like you know.
Thinking.
Yeah, I'm like, let me pull out my phone. Like
I actually tried taking that back because I was like, I don't even know the answer.
Yeah.
Part of your world from The Little Mermaid.
Actually, that
really would be.
The H2O theme song.
I think that might have to be it.
I'm going to go with the first thing that popped in my head. I would probably say A Forest by The Cure. Like that, I love that song so much. It's definitely not like my number one song that I would pick.
Because it's just so weird to say, but you know how impactful the closing ceremony of the casket is, or when we walk out of the funeral.
we cannot play A Forest by The Cure then.
I know. I mean, it could also be the reflection song afterwards, but people don't understand how much, like, you have it in the background noise.
But then it's like really always there.
But think about because when the family's coming to the front door, we don't want just like some random song playing. We want
so
their first
important.
coming in, like their essence.
Yes.
The start to a funeral, the song of a reflection at the end of the service, and then the very important closing of the casket song. And then when you process out of the building.
Closing of the casket, I would want to do, I think that one's a lot easier, like when I break it down of like what moment. I would probably want to do Holocene by Bon Iver. That's the song for sure. What would you do for that part?
The closing of the casket?
Yeah.
I think I might do something that is a
Like a
tearjerker,
classic,
like Hallelujah by Jeff Buckley. Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's definitely something like for peace and
right.
Yeah. Something has to be upbeat, something has to be me, and something has to be peaceful for those 3 distinct songs. And and then maybe for the cemetery, you leave it up to your kids because you can't plan it all. You know, and that's the thing about planning. Do what you can. But the children
leave some wiggle room
leave some wiggle room for your kids. Yeah, don't be so selfish.
Yeah, that is so true. Anything for me, like flowers, even the urn, like just the vibe. It's gotta be black, like this. It's gotta be black and white, and then I do love greenery. Yeah, I'm just not. Yeah, like I'm not a huge fan of like bright colored flowers. That's not me. Sorry, guys, but I love the greenery of it all.
Yeah, like very. Yeah, I guess. I mean, you have plants everywhere in your house, so I could see that.
Yeah.
Well, why I'm laughing is I like
the opposite.
I want mine to look like a coral reef. Put a coral reef in there.
Can you please get
some blues, some purples. I don't like the foofy I don't want them to look like funeral flowers.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody
no lilies, please.
No lilies.
Get them.
Yeah,
out.
But
no.
There's some really creative things you can do for the casket blanket.
Yeah.
And also I like the idea of there's like plants within the arrangement, and you pull it out and give to the family so they can
that's a great idea.
repot or plant in their backyard. I'm definitely gonna have color at mine.
Yeah, I think I'm like, part of me is almost like, okay, I wear black every day. Like, it's not a funeral or death color to me. So I'm like, what if at my funeral everybody actually wore color? But then I would be like, no, I don't.
You'd be judging them from
I would be
above.
like posted up in the corner like,
you're like, ooh,
I don't like that outfit.
Right.
I don't have a huge list of people I wouldn't want there. I feel like even if I didn't want somebody there, if they felt the need to go, I would feel bad telling them they can't be there because I don't know like what their grief process is and like.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
I almost feel bad when there's like a no entry list because I'm like, I understand you all might have had some beef.
Yeah.
But I also think people
deserve to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And they have to make amends with themselves to move forward and be a better person, especially if they were in the wrong. So.
Right. Like, all my exes can come.
Yeah.
You know, like we had our time. So I feel like
they're
it's
part
important.
of your history.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So all my enemies are welcome. Just wear a cute outfit and don't be disrespectful.
Yes, please don't wear jeans to my funeral. Like I can't
Not happening.
No. I mean, I get calling hours, you know, like they have to, they're coming from work, but like if we are like going to
change in the car.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously, it's not that hard. and you know, I get it. But then I also, if it's a different crowd, like, and you know the person who's coming, like, I'm always shocked when I see people coming to funerals with jeans. I'm like,
me too.
And it's a thing, like, we changed so much as a society. But where did we lose, like, our charm?
Yes, like our identity in fashion. Yeah. I know if it's a celebration about me, my friends know I love fashion. Like, I love Vivienne Westwood. I love pearls. I love like black, like Coventry glamour. Like that's what I'm into. So like I want to see corsets. I want to see like gothic skirts. Like I want everyone to have their like lace gloves and veils. Like I love that so much. And if I were to come to my own funeral and see everybody and just like jeans. Come on, like where's the vision? I need the vision.
You're gonna haunt
I need
them
the
all.
theme. Yeah, like I'm coming to your closet and you're gonna find your clothes missing one by one.
Oh my god. Yeah, I wonder if, because I have put in obituaries, please wear their favorite color.
Yeah.
And that's great, but I hope more people do that.
Like the way people dressed at my launch party was everything. Like
notes.
I need that. I need like like the one girl, she had on the like fur coat and I'm like, yes.
She's the one who says, I just killed that was her theme.
She said, I killed my husband and then now I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, and I came to his funeral dressed like this. Yes.
My name's Abby. I'm wearing a dress from Windsor and like stockings and stuff from Target. But the goal was like, I killed my husband.
Yeah. I love it. It's giving Cruella DeVille.
I'm Zoe. I've got like the Gap and Target on, but the goal was the one she killed the husband for.
It was a great event, and it was nice to just see people like in a funeral home and feel comfortable. And we talked about heavy topics, but it was just, you know, making it light and making it I don't know. Normal. Yeah, thank you. That's the goal of this podcast.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did we hit it all? We talked about flowers. And there's always other things that could come into it. We've had people who wanted to make stations of writing memories on stones or their names, and it goes into a garden.
Oh, that's cute.
Unique things where there's going to be a piece of art where people put their thumbprint on it.
like that.
You can, like, Etsy is brilliant.
They got it all.
And we try to have ideas, and we try to provide a content for family to, you know, ponder, and if they want to move forward with it. But, you know, we're not Google. Google has everything. So if there's something that you want and it's something unique to the person, we will do it. We brought beach sand to the funeral home before. Come on.
Like you probably still find a beach sand, like, to this day.
Well, luckily we remodeled, but yeah.
Something I actually have thought about is, like, and this would be more like if I do die younger in the next, like, 10, 15 years.
Where's the wood in here? Jesus, my God.
It's on the floor. Okay. You know, I do have a sense that I'm not going to be really old when I die. So when I imagine my funeral, I imagine me being younger. Not like young, but definitely not like 52 is a number that's been in my head since I was a very small kid. Of like, I don't know if I see, like, when I imagine life past 52, there's nothing there. It's just blank. So we'll see how psychic I am when I turn 52. But I would love to have my tattoo artist, Shannon, have a table and do like little memorial tattoos. Of like just like little things, like maybe it's just a tiny little black cat, or like just little things that remind them of me that are not like Madison Reuter, like this date to this date. Like, I don't want that, but I want it to be like a little cat, or like a little disco ball, or like
heart or something.
Yeah, just like something
so nice.
Yeah,
I love it. Tattooing is becoming a huge thing, especially with the fingerprints that we capture, and they make designs and integrate it into the art. And I know we might sound insane. Like, this might sound like a lot.
Why do you guys think about this?
Think about how much people spend on weddings. Mm-hmm. And it's for one day. And yes, it's a reunion of two people. But we're celebrating an entire life. And it doesn't have to be so elaborate and expensive. But these ideas are things that, you know, if it's something very important to you or your family members and they find peace in it, how do you put a price on that?
Right. And I think too, like, if you are thinking about this stuff now, I have money set aside now. So if I die, you know, next week, there's money there and my family doesn't have to be stressed. And it's something like, even if you put aside like $5 every time you get paid or something, like, just having that money there will take stress off too. And then that way you're able to like think about it more and do like more cool stuff.
You were like, I've never met, I mean, even myself too, like, for because everyone's saying Gen Z and millennials, late millennials like me, we don't say.
Late millennial. Geriatric millennial.
I'm almost a Gen Zer, just kidding, I'm totally not. Oh, I wish. We don't save. Like, that's the thing. And I don't really see too many people getting life insurance policies. But, like, folks, we got to, like, buckle down.
Like, let's get with the program. Yeah. Start putting aside money for whatever. It doesn't have to be for your funeral, but,
no, but, yeah, in general. We're not just talking about your funeral.
Yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I feel like...
we just planned our funerals.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Yeah.
We covered a whole lot.
Maybe next time we'll talk about the obituary. That's a
hard one.
It is.
I think it was in my like creative writing class, my first year of college. We had to write our own obituary. It was one of the hardest things. And I consider myself like a pretty good writer. It's like, you know, the classic things you include to me are not necessarily things I would include. Like yes, I went to FIT and, you know, I studied this, but like that to me is not like the thing I'd want.
So yours is more creative.
Yeah, like I really want to get into the lore. Like I want.
Ooh, I love that.
I want to spill my own tea.
We should. I mean, you already have yours written. We should come back.
Oh, that was like probably 8 years ago at this point. So she was a baby. Like she knew nothing.
But the lore continues.
So the lore. That's just part one.
Okay. 2 occasions. I had somebody reach out to me. Her parent passed away in Florida. They're not from here, and they were like, "I need guidance." And my first thing was like, "There's no right or wrong way to write an obituary."
Right.
Okay, like I know there's templates everywhere,
really,
but like, you can
deep into it, or you can just make it like very traditional.
Absolutely. And then the length. some people, I know there's people who read the obituaries and they're like, oh my God, why do they say so much stuff about them? And like, all right, be judgy of the dead. Okay.
Who else's obituary is it going to be? Like, it's literally theirs.
What are they going to write about you one day?
Right.
And it's like, these are the things that were important to them. And it's giving a healing sentiment to the family.
Right.
That's beautiful. And wouldn't you want that, like, to be put out there? But I get it. Some people are very humble, which is great.
Yeah.
But also, some of the most humble people need to be appreciated.
Yes.
Because they're usually the ones who've done the longest list of things.
Yes.
And the ripple effect that they've touched in their life. Like, oh, I remember them from the city mission. Like, make sure that's placed in the obituary because, like, those people who you helped are going to remember you and might want to be there at your funeral. Yeah, we can have a whole discussion about obituary writing.
I've got thoughts. I mean, we just didn't have one.
Really?
And it was like, I still to this day, I'm like, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, he didn't have one. And
digital footprint, I don't think people talk enough about, is so important because, you know, you do a Google search and they don't have hyperlinks talking about them. It's like, did they exist?
That's how it feels. It's like I Google him and like, I don't see anything. This is really important stuff. Like, there is a whole lived experience. And also, like, if someone dies in the way that he did, like, just add a link to, like, for people to get help to the obituary.
Yeah.
And you've just created a resource. Like, for me, I don't know, obviously, how I'm going to die, but if something, like, tragic happens and I struggle with mental health or suicide or something like that, I would want people to use that as a way to like provide resources for other people. I think a lot of times, like if someone dies from like an overdose or something mental health related, it's very like
hush hush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel very opposite about that. I'm like, no, we shouldn't be shaming these people for what happened. We should just take this as a moment to like create awareness, use their memory for something good.
Absolutely.
So
I 100% agree. There are some wonderful families. I don't want to call them brave because I feel like more people should be doing this and it shouldn't be out of the norm. But when they do that,
right now.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It's helping that they have the organization tied in and people don't have to question how they passed away. They have that peace. They could see like through the conversation in their own life because we all struggle with mental health issues. We all struggle every day. And it's good to take care of one another, you know, finding strength together.
Yes. And I think too, a lot of times when I say stuff like that, people assume that I'm like condoning suicide, and like people think that raising awareness around it and support and talking about it more means that it's encouraging people to do that. And that's not the case at all. It's literally just like making these topics more comfortable so that people have space so it doesn't get to that point.
Yeah, because people are probably reading the obituaries or whatever comes on their Facebook page that somebody passed away. A lot of these people who are passing away, it is from suicide, and you don't know. And some people will never know. And
then you make a million assumptions about how they passed away. It happened a lot with Regis. Like, so many people were posting stuff on Facebook. There was someone who literally posted, like, I'm so sorry that, like, the drugs finally got to him. Or, like, it's so sad. Another one lost to the fentanyl epidemic. And I'm just sitting there like,
yeah.
Oh my God. Like, no. So when we actually talk about it, it reduces.
And you're in control of it.
Yeah.
You put it out there. And
yes, that's huge.
On that topic, it's hard to make people understand. And as a funeral director, we lay them. We give the family their options. And sometimes it's good that we don't have to finalize an obituary right away. They can go home and process what they want to do.
Yeah. I feel like we covered everything.
That was amazing.
That was really good.
So we got to save this, put it in the cloud somewhere.
2 copies.
USB. I mean,
hard drive.
Maybe
USB.
Hopefully by that time, USB isn't a thing anymore. But we'll save it and put it in our death file.
Oh my God, I didn't even share this. I'm using it as a footrest. Let me share this before we finish. So this is my death file. Basically, it's all my important things in my life organized into 2 categories. And I have work and whimsy, as they say.
What does whimsy mean?
I think it's just like fun, silly stuff.
Oh, I hope the funeral file isn't in there.
I actually I need to fill out the pre-plan book and then I'm gonna put it in here. But so for like the work one, it's everything from taxes to passwords to like logins for like work stuff and like my business information and like maybe old school work, just stuff like that. Apparently this really unflattering photo of me graduating college.
Oh my god.
That wasn't even that long ago either. Like,
you're in blue. I think that's why. That's why I'm shocked. She's
not
in
a
color.
choice. Not a choice. Actually, I just found this from my friend's funeral back in the day.
But yeah, listen up, people. You need to
Get
organize your thoughts and also have a plan. Make sure your social security number is somewhere your family can find.
Yes.
You know what your legal name is.
Yes.
And
just little things that people don't.
Yeah. And if you see something that says MetLife and Prudential, don't throw it out. Life insurance policies, I don't know who gets all the, there's a bureau that gets all the money that's lost because people don't claim their funds.
I'm trying to work there.
Yes. Well, I was just reading about it at the City of Albany. I know this is a fact, but didn't prepare my thoughts. But yeah, so much money goes to the government because it's not claimed.
Yeah.
Unclaimed money.
And then they just have like keepsakes in this one, like more fun stuff. My second grade friends wrote this about me, apparently.
Who's Marshmallow?
My bunny that I have tattooed on my arm.
Oh my god.
That was my girl, for real. Funny enough, Madison's favorite color is black.
How old are you?
This is second grade. Second grade.
On pink paper, though, so.
Right. Yeah, this is
You were prepared for me.
This is crazy. Hannah Montana. Loved her. So, yeah, there's just like a lot of stuff like for my actual funeral that they can put out or just like use to reference.
That's amazing.
And it's all organized here. So,
well,
yeah.
I hope it gets a lot of cobwebs because we don't want to open up that anytime soon, but. This was fun.
This was really fun. I liked this.
Yes. But isn't it like so easy just having a conversation?
Yeah, I kind of want to have like a night where I get all my friends together, have like snacks, and then just like talk about what we want when we die. That would be so fun.
I have a game now that I just purchased because I was thinking about creating a game, but it was already invented. So I'm going to bring the cards and I think I'm going to start bringing them into my pre-plans, like a break the ice thing. They pick a card and it's just something that's like, what's your favorite memory when you were like a teenager?
Is this like funeral oriented or like what's the game?
It's about life. It's the story of life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like cue cards that open your mind and prompts to think about your life.
Send me the link.
Yes, I will.
We will link it in the show notes. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
This was so fun.
Thank you.
And we will be back in a few weeks for another episode.
Sounds good. See you at work.
Okay, guys, so before we close out today's episode, of course, I have my mental health update with SHEA from Rooted Within. So if you don't know, I have been doing an inner alignment program with SHEA Opella of Rooted Within, and we did an interview. It was episode 2, I think, of the season. So if you want to see, us talk about inner healing, grief, childhood trauma, healing, and how there are alternative ways of doing it other than talk therapy, definitely check out that episode. But I wanted to talk about my 6th session. So first of all, I can't believe I only have 2 more sessions after this one. We might extend a little bit longer, but we're not sure yet. So we shall see. But in this session, we did another feel and process trauma experience. And this one specifically was really fascinating to me because the memory that was brought up from my childhood is honestly something that I didn't realize I had forgotten. Now, I am not the type of person that forgot my childhood. I know a lot of people that experience childhood trauma have a response of forgetting, major portions of their childhood experience, or, they just don't recall certain events, or it takes a lot to bring those up. And I've never related to that particularly. But in this experience, something came up for me that was just shocking, like to me. Because I didn't know I even had the ability to forget something or just to bury it that deep in my brain. I've never really forgotten any major event in my life. We kind of started talking about Regis and just about turning 25. And I know I did a full episode about turning 25 and how I was really scared to turn 25. And I am recording this portion after my 25th birthday. So, I'm okay. And I did it and I reached the milestone. But it was really hard for me because Regis died when he was 24, and turning 25 just felt weird to outlive him, to have more life than he got to have. And so, that's kind of where we started with what I'm dealing with today. And we talked about the feelings associated with turning 25 and the things I was afraid of and the things I was upset about. And then, I felt that in my body, and it gave me this feeling of like, I want to just run. Like, I just want to get up and run as far as I can. Like, I need a sprint right now. And I feel that way a lot. I've sort of realized that there's two major ways that I feel in a trauma. It's very much either fight or flight. Like, I will either want to curl up in a ball and like wither away, or I have this sensation in my body that tells me like, you need to run. Like, you need to get up and just sprint. So yeah, relating that back to a childhood experience, it's not something I want to talk about. It's not something I need to talk about, but just know the association between the feelings around turning 25, the anxiety, the anger, the fear, the feeling alone, the feeling afraid to forget, the feeling of being afraid to let go a little bit was very much linked back to something I experienced in my childhood. And after working through that, I was able to experience my birthday in a much different headspace, and feeling that and processing it was really huge for me. Yeah, it was a really big week for me. It helped me to kind of understand physically in my body why I'm responding in certain ways, or how certain events can lead to me responding in certain ways. Yeah, it's been a wild journey, and just being able to understand these responses better is so fascinating to me. And that was kind of the big focus for this session. So if you're dealing with trauma, childhood trauma, grief, and you just feel really stuck and really scared and really, high anxiety all the time, really chaotic in your mind, like you can never relax, like you can never calm down, I would just encourage you to look into talking with someone like SHEA, setting up a consultation. This is not sponsored, okay? I'm just sharing this with you guys because SHEA has truly changed my life. Working with someone who really understands trauma, grief, childhood experiences, trauma responses, it has completely changed my brain. Like, I feel so incredibly different, and I could never thank her enough for the difference she's made in my life. So it's really huge. I feel like I've come such a long way. I still have 2 sessions left, and I feel like I've come so far. So her information is always linked in the description box. If you want to check her out, it's usually at the bottom. Send her a message. I know actually a few of you have reached out to her, which makes me want to sob and cry, just to know that some of you guys are getting help and reaching out and being brave enough to say, I need help. I am so proud of you guys for doing that. And any of you who do that, whether it's therapy, whether it's telling a friend, whether it's remembering to take your medication every day, you are taking steps towards really prioritizing your mental health. And that is so huge and deserves to be celebrated. So I'm very proud of you. If you're looking for a resource, reach out to SHEA from Rooted Within. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the episode. Let's cue the outro. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching or listening to today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed learning more about the funeral planning process, and I hope we made it like more digestible and fun for you to listen to. I'm really glad to have processed a lot of this myself and really thought about the things that I want to have at my funeral, because you really never know when your time is up. So being prepared is so important. If you guys are watching this episode on the YouTube channel at And Also Podcast, be sure to subscribe, give this video a like if you liked it and leave a comment below letting us know what you want to see next. And if you're listening on audio platforms, be sure to rate the show 5 stars. It really helps us to be able to share these stories, these really, really important stories, and give people platforms to speak on this deep stuff. So definitely rate the show, save it to a playlist, or send it to a friend. And last little self-promo plug here, be sure to follow And Also Pod on Instagram. I'm trying to hit 1,000 followers and we are so close. So head on over there, give us a follow, and send me a message if you have any thoughts on the show or you want to be a guest. Of course, we are open to all folks being on the show, so definitely send me a DM over there. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.